Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're plunging into the really fascinating world of Blue Exorcist. That's the acclaimed manga and anime by Kazu Kado.
Yeah, it's got such a reputation for its incredibly rich and complex supernatural world building.
Totally, and it centers around Rin Okumura, who is, get this, the half-human son of Satan himself.
Which right away throws a huge wrench into any simple, black and white ideas about good versus evil. His whole existence challenges that.
Absolutely. So our mission today in this deep dive is to really unpack Blue Exorcist's unique take on Akuma, or demons.
We're going to look at how the series masterfully blends Western demonology, figures like Satan, the 18 Kings, that sort of thing,
right,
with this incredibly rich tapestry of Japanese folklore. We're talking yukai, Shinto kami, even Buddhist deities. It's quite a mix.
And we want to show you that this blend, it's not just cool background stuff. It's actually the heart of the story's conflicts. It drives the character arcs, and it lets the series explore some really profound themes. By the end, you'll get how Blue Exorcist cleverly tears down simplistic ideas of good and evil. Instead, it champions things like empathy, self-acceptance.
It really is much deeper than it looks on the surface.
For sure. So let's get into it.
Okay, let's kick things off by unpacking the fundamental rules, the metaphysics, if you will, governing this supernatural world. Basically, you've got two parallel dimensions running side by side. There's Asaya, that's our material world where humans live, and then there's Gehenna, that's the void world of demons, and it's absolutely ruled by Satan.
Right. And the single most critical rule, the one that underpins almost everything.
Yeah. Demons
have to possess something material in Asaya to cross over from Gehenna. They can't just, poof, appear here.
Exactly. They need a vessel. Yep. And that vessel can be, pretty much anything.
Humans, obviously, but animals too. Plants.
Even inanimate objects, swords, old lanterns, statues. If it has substance in Asaya, it's potential real estate for a demon.
And this one rule, it really drives so much of the plot and the character struggles, doesn't it?
It really does. And it's not just a convenient plot mechanic either. It connects to something deeper, more personal, almost psychological. You see, demons in this world, they often target humans who are going through intense emotional turmoil or psychological weakness.
Like instability makes you vulnerable.
Precisely. It ties back to that very first episode's title. Remember, demons live in the human soul.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So every demonic encounter becomes this battleground, not just for the physical body, but for the person's mind, their spirit.
You see that so clearly with Rin himself, don't you? His blue flames, that undeniable mark of his heritage, they flare up like crazy when he gets angry or overwhelmed. It's like a visual representation of his internal battle.
A literal battleground inside him.
Yeah.
His inner demons are very real, visually represented.
Which means exorcism in Blue Exorcist, it's not just about kicking the demon out physically.
Right. It often involves healing the person psychologically too.
Yeah.
Helping them deal with their despair or anger, the very thing that attracted the demon.
Makes sense.
And the vessel itself, its integrity is crucial. A host body needs to be strong enough physically and spiritually to contain the demon's power.
Otherwise,
if the demon is too strong, the host decays rapidly, and eventually it's just destroyed.
Which explains Satan's big problem, right? He's too powerful for almost any host in Asaya for long.
Exactly. His power is just immense. It burns through mortal forms, and that's why he's so obsessed with Rin.
Because Rin's hybrid body is unique.
It's the only known vessel capable of potentially withstanding the full might of his blue flames.
Wow. Okay, and then there's that twist, though it's rare.
Oh yeah, the willpower thing.
Right, where someone with extraordinary human willpower can actually force a demon into possessing them.
And gain demonic powers, but somehow stay in control. It's pretty wild.
It really hammers home that theme of will, of self-control, which is so key to Rin's whole journey, isn't it? Learning to control his own nature.
Definitely. Now, talking weaknesses. Most demons seem to share two main ones. There's their tail, often a vulnerable spot, and crucially, their heart. But not like a physical heart necessarily.
More like the source of their power.
Exactly. Destroy that heart, and you destroy the demon completely. Eradicate its existence.
Which brings us back to Rin and his sword, Kurakara.
Right. His demonic power was sealed into that sword at birth. It basically functions as his external demonic heart.
So as long as it's sheathed, his power is mostly contained.
But if it were ever destroyed while drawn,
that'd be it for Rin. Game over.
Pretty high stakes.
And the ultimate weapon against all this, that's Satan's blue flames, the ones Rin inherited.
Yeah, those are unique. They don't just destroy the physical vessel.
They destroy the demon's actual conceptual form, their spiritual essence. It's like ultimate exorcism power, truly devastating.
Okay, so moving on from those core mechanics, you mentioned Gehenna isn't just chaos.
Right, you'd think demon world, just, anarchy, but no.
It's surprisingly structured, almost like a feudal society with a clear hierarchy.
Yeah, demons seem to fall into broad tiers based on power, right? Lower, middle, upper.
You've got the lower level ones, like those little fuzzy black coal tars. They almost look cute, don't they?
A bit like Ghibli sprites, yeah.
Or goblins. Lots of them, but individually quite weak.
Then middle level, like Nibirius, sort of average strength.
And then the upper level ones, like the Impure King. Hugely powerful, capable of causing massive destruction, terrifying scale.
And above those tiers, there's the royalty, so to speak.
The 8 demon kings,
Yeah.
Also known as the Baal. These guys are immensely powerful, each ruling over specific elements or concepts.
Like Lucifer, king of light, supposedly the strongest after Satan himself.
And Samael, who we know better as Mephistopheles.
Ah, the eccentric principal of True Cross Academy. King of time. Always seems to know more than he lets on.
Definitely enigmatic. Then you've got Iblis, king of fire, Amamun, king of earth.
Yeah.
It hints at this vast power structure.
And it's sitting right at the top of it all.
Satan, the demon god, or Mashin, absolute ruler of Gehenna, progenitor of all demons.
And of course, Rin and Yupio's biological dad.
His power is just on another level entirely. Even beyond the demon kings, he's the ultimate antagonist, the force that shapes their world.
So we've got the rules, the hierarchy. But how does the series make these demons feel like real to us watching? Visually, audibly?
Well, visually, a huge part is Kazuketo's art style. It's got this great mix of sharp action and really expressive characters.
Yeah, and the contrast in demon designs is amazing. You go from those fuzzy, almost harmless-looking coal tars.
Right, the Ghibli comparison again.
To the Impure King, which is just this grotesque, colossal fortress of rot and fungus. It's nightmarish. The sheer variety keeps you guessing.
And you can't talk visuals without talking Rin's blue flames. They're iconic.
Definitely. Their animation is so important. It shows their power, obviously, but also Rin's emotional state.
You really see that shift, don't you? Early on, they're wild, explosive, reflecting his inner turmoil.
But later, as he gains control, they become more focused. It's a great visual metaphor for his growth. When he loses it, though, bam, they erupt.
A direct window into his feeling.
And the sound is just as vital. The music, mostly by Hiroyuki Sawano, it's this intense fusion, right? Orchestral, electronic.
Oh, yeah. Tracks like Symphonic Sweet Devil, they just swell with this orchestral power. It gives the big demons this sense of grandeur, of existential threat, makes their presence hit harder.
And then for characters like Mephisto, his theme music is completely different.
Quirky, unpredictable, uses accordions. It perfectly captures his eccentric personality, his clever scoring.
And the actual sound effects for the demons draw a lot from horror, I think.
Totally. That unsettling dissonance, creepy atmospheric tones, the guttural roars, sometimes ethereal whispers.
And that distinct crackle of Rin's flames, you always know when they ignite.
Put it all together, visuals, music, sound design, and Gehenna starts to feel terrifyingly real and immersive.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Moving from the mechanics to something really cool. How Blue Exorcist plays with Japanese folklore.
Ah, yeah, this is one of its defining features. It takes figures that are revered, sometimes even worshipped in Japan, and reclassifies them as akuma, as demons within its own world.
Kuro is a perfect starting point, right? Rin's familiar, the cute two-tailed cat.
He's called a cat Sidye, which is Celtic means fairy cat.
But his actual origin, his look, his abilities, that's pure Japanese folklore. He's a Nekomata.
Exactly. A type of bakaneko, or changed cat. Those two tails are the classic sign.
And in traditional folklore, Nekomata weren't exactly cute and cuddly, were they?
No, not at all. They were often feared. Believed to come from old domestic cats, their tails splitting as they gained spiritual power. They could supposedly shapeshift, talk, create fireballs, even reanimate the dead. Often seen as malevolent or seeking revenge.
But Blue Exorcist flips that completely. It keeps the two tails, the long life, the guardian idea.
But totally subverts the morality. Kuro's rampage. It wasn't malice, it was deep grief and loyalty to his dead master, Shiro Fujimoto.
He wasn't evil, just heartbroken and acting out.
So right away, this mixed Celtic name, Japanese creature, subverted morality. What does that tell us?
It feels deliberate, like it's setting the stage.
It is deliberate. It's cultural fusion as a statement. It tells you immediately the series isn't sticking to just one mythological rulebook.
Yeah, it signals that labels, names, origins, they're flexible here. What matters more is character, relationships, actions. It primes you to question assumptions.
And building on that, probably the most thought-provoking aspect is how beings traditionally seen as gods or benevolent spirits in Japan are systematically labeled demons by the True Cross Order, which is, Vatican-led in the story.
We see that with Izumo Komiki's familiars, right? Ukamochi and Miketsu.
The white foxes.
They're byaka. In Shinto, they're divine messengers of Ukinomitama, a god of food and harvest, often linked to Inari, who's widely revered.
So from a Japanese perspective, they serve a good god.
Exactly. And Karura, that powerful fire demon, that's the Japanese name for Garuda, a divine protector figure in Hinduism and Buddhism.
And Ukuzma, the fire demon of purification. That's Ususama Mush, a Buddhist wisdom king whose whole job is to cleanse impurity.
You also see figures like Yamantaka, Wadatsumi, same pattern, reclassified.
This mirrors real history, doesn't it? How expanding religion sometimes labeled local deities as demons.
Yeah, absorbing or demonizing the old gods.
Blue Exorcist uses that dynamic. The True Cross Order imposes its dualistic good versus evil framework onto these beings from different traditions.
Which forces you, the viewer, and the characters to ask, is something evil just because one specific group labels it that way? It highlights this huge cultural bias in the Exorcist's worldview.
It makes you question good and evil as these fixed objective things.
And that sets the stage perfectly for Rin. Son of Satan, labeled evil by birthright, trying to be a hero in a system that fundamentally rejects him.
His very existence is a challenge to their core beliefs.
So all this clever weaving of myth and folklore, what does it actually do for the story? How does it work narratively?
Well, the brilliance isn't just name-dropping. It's how these ancient rules and traits actively drive the plot and resolve conflict.
Oh, okay, like how? Give us an example.
Think about Tammy Kuro, back in episodes 10-11. His rampage came from grief, right? That intense loyalty tied to the Nekomata folklore.
Yeah, he wasn't just randomly destructive.
Exactly. So the solution wasn't overpowering him or a standard exorcism. It was Rin showing empathy, sharing his own grief over Shiro's death. That formed a new bond.
Ah, so the folklore provided the why for his actions, and understanding that was key to resolving it through connection, not just force.
Precisely. The mythology gave it emotional and narrative logic.
Okay, good example. What about something bigger scale, like the Kyoto Impure King arc? That thing was massive.
Season 2 is big bad, yeah. The impure king is described as pure, kigar, spiritual impurity, filth.
And regular exorcist tactics weren't working well against it.
Right. So what's the mythological counter to ultimate impurity, ultimate purification?
Which leads us back to Ukuzma.
The Buddhist wisdom king of purification, reclassified as a demon. Rin channels his blue flame, Satan's power, through an Ukuzma ritual.
So demon power plus reclassified god power equal purification.
To destroy the ultimate impurity. It's a direct application of ancient religious functions solving a modern problem in the story. The plot resolution is the mythology in action.
That's clever. It makes the solutions feel earned within the world's logic, even when they're fantastical.
And it's not just plot. Character journeys are deeply tied to these beings too.
Rin, obviously. His whole arc is reconciling his human heart and demonic blood.
And saving Kuro. That's a turning point. He gives him living proof that not all demons are evil. It helps him accept his own powers aren't inherently evil either. They're a tool.
And his struggle to control the blue flames becomes this ongoing metaphor for self-acceptance, right?
Absolutely. But it affects the supporting cast too. Look at Izumo Kamiki.
Her pride, her skills as a tamer.
Rooted in her Shinto shrine maiden lineage. That's why she can summon the Byakko, those divine fox messengers. Her powers come from that specific tradition.
And Bon, Ryuji Suguro. His initial hatred for Rin
comes from trauma during the Blue Night, Satan's attack. But he was raised in a Buddhist temple. His journey through the Kyoto arc is about moving past blind anger, fueled by that event, towards a more nuanced understanding of good and evil, influenced by encountering these different kinds of demons.
So the folklore shapes their powers, their backstories, their conflicts.
And their growth.
Which brings up a big question. How does all this ancient stuff resonate today? With us, the audience. Why does it matter beyond just being cool lore?
Well, one big way is through allegory. Rin's half-demon status is a really powerful metaphor for otherness.
Like prejudice based on where you come from or who your family is?
Exactly. His whole fight is to prove that his actions define him, not his bloodline. That's a struggle many people can connect with, fighting against labels and prejudice.
And the theme of family is huge too. Blood versus choice.
Oh, absolutely. You have the ultimate contrast. Satan, his biological father, representing this almost deterministic, inherited evil destiny.
Versus Shiro Fujimoto, his adoptive father, who represents love, sacrifice, choosing your own path.
Rin yelling he's going to kick Satan's ass. That's him rejecting that inherited destiny loud and clear, choosing Shiro's values instead.
It's powerful stuff.
And maybe most importantly, the way the series uses folklore systematically dismantles those simple good versus evil binaries we talked about.
The Kyoto arc, again, being a prime example.
Perfect microcosm. The established good guys, the Exorcists using standard methods, they basically fail. The solution requires Rin, a demon, by their definition, wielding the power of Yukuzma, another being they've labeled a demon, for a purely good outcome, saving lives.
Right. It drives home the idea that power itself is neutral. It's the intent behind it that matters.
Yeah, the series argues pretty strongly that good and evil are often just inadequate labels. They can be misleading. It urges you to look deeper.
So the genius here is in the balance, isn't it? It adapts faithfully sometimes, but also reinterprets freely.
Exactly. It keeps core folkloric ideas like a Nekomata is a two-tailed cat guardian, Ukuzma has purifying power. Those roots are respected. But then it's completely unafraid to change their moral alignment or context to fit its own story and themes.
Like making Kuro sympathetic, driven by grief instead of malice. That's a reinterpretation.
Or the whole reclassification of Shinto and Buddhist figures as akuma. That's a deliberate move to critique dogma within the story's world.
It creates this world that feels authentically Japanese in its roots, but also universal in its themes, accessible globally.
That cat city name for a Nekomata kind of sums it all up, doesn't it? It's a perfect little symbol of that synthesis, drawing from different wells to tell one compelling story about identity.
Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive, we've seen how Blue Exorcist is way more than just an action anime. It's like a masterclass in building a world through syncretic demonology.
Yeah, it creates this space where Western and Japanese supernatural ideas merge, and in doing so, it really challenges rigid definitions of good and evil. It pushes us to look past the labels.
To understand the true nature of things, or beings.
It's a narrative that really makes its characters, and us think about how much our view of the world is shaped by the frameworks we use, whether we chose them or just inherited them.
So here's maybe something to think about after this. If a powerful organization in this story can redefine gods as demons just because they don't fit their box, what does that suggest about the labels we use in our own lives, on other people, or maybe even on ourselves?
It's worth considering, How often is our first understanding of someone or something just based on a pre-existing label, rather than taking the time for a more empathetic look at who or what they really are? The series kind of nudges us to question those quick categorizations.
Maybe the real power then isn't in neatly labeling everything. Maybe it's in the effort to understand, to accept complexity, and ultimately to choose your own path, no matter your origins.
A powerful message.
We hope this deep dive encourages you to look a little closer, not just at Blue Exorcist, but at the stories you engage with and the labels you encounter every day.